every interaction and looking at everyone's faces was so incredible, and like I said, that's why we do this.
Lea Michele has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons as of late. It's no secret over the years, she had her fair share of criticism and hate. But after a former co-star would expose Michele for some of her rather unpleasant behavior on set, it seems the floodgates would open. Since initially being called out by former co-star Samantha Who on Twitter, over a dozen other actors either came out agreeing with Who's words or sharing their own negative experience with Michele. Today on InformOverload, we're counting down the top 10 celebrities that can't stand Lea Michele. What's up guys, welcome back to I.O. I'm your host Gerard Bronstein, and today we're going to be counting down a bunch of people that have spoken out against Glee star Lea Michele. As always, I'll be replying to your comments from a previous video, and I encourage you guys to drop some comments below for a chance to be featured in our next video. I usually feature the ones, complimenting me on my hair, my beard, really anything. If you also want to bribe me, $5, I'll shout you out. I'll give you my Cash App. We don't have that in Canada. For now, let's get right into this one. At number 10, Samantha Who. She's really the one that initially lit the match that would turn into a full-fledged fire. In this case, Lea Michele's career is what's on fire. After Lea tweeted out, "George Floyd did not deserve this. This was not an isolated incident and it must end." Who would retweet Michele's original tweet and caption it with, "LMAO, remember when you made my first television gig a living hell? Cause I'll never forget. I believe you told everyone that if you had the opportunity, you would in my wig." Amongst other traumatic microaggressions that made me question a career in Hollywood. A few days later, after a few other former cast members would express their support for Who's words or revealed a story of their own, painting Michele in a negative light, the Glee star would post a note on Instagram. I quote, "While I don't remember ever making this specific statement and I have never judged others by their background or color of their skin, that's not really the point. What matters is that I clearly acted in ways which hurt other people. I apologize for my behavior and for any pain which I have caused. We can all grow and change, and I have definitely used these past several months to reflect on my own shortcomings." In an interview with Variety, Who also claimed that Michele threatened to have her fired, and at one point, I quote, "said I don't deserve that job." Still, we got 9 others that don't appreciate Michele or how she's behaved in the past, so let's keep it rolling. At number 9, Jonte Godlock. Responding to Who's tweet, Godlock, who's known for playing Simone Biles in the film The Simone Biles Story, Courage to Soar, wrote, I quote, "Did somebody say cockroaches? Because that's what she used to refer to the background as on the set of Glee. But we grow up and we don't stay background forever. So..." Now for those of you not in the industry, a background actor is also referred to as an extra. In a movie or a TV show where kids are in high school, all the other students who usually aren't even in focus, but can just be seen walking by the characters the scene is focused on, they're usually considered background. Same thing when you see a busy New York street or a subway car in various different films. Usually they're actors in the industry trying to get a foot in the door. For Godlock, that was exactly the case. And sometimes actors tend to break out of the extra or background scene and start landing bigger, more prominent roles, which is exactly what happened to Godlock. In the industry, it's a known fact to be nice to everyone, not only because it's the right thing to do, but as they say, everyone you see on the way up, you'll see on the way down as well. And you better hope you treated them well on the way up, cause they'll remember you on the way down. Up next at number 8, Alex Newell. Replying to someone's now deleted tweet, more or less accusing Who and some of Michele's former co-stars for lying about her behavior, Newell replied with, I quote, "Child, we ain't got no damn thing to lie about 6 years later. I'm gonna say this one time. When my friends goes through something traumatic, I also go through it. That's what friendship is. And if you can't understand that, then you're part of the problem. And that's on period." And I mean that for both sides of this coin. At 7, Gerard Cano. Known for his performance both on and off Broadway, Gerard worked with Lea Michele while he was an understudy for the performance of Spring Awakening, which starred Lea. Commenting on her Instagram apology, he claimed his first comment got deleted, so he was trying again. I quote the comment reading, "Seems to have been deleted, so I'll try again. You were nothing but a nightmare to me and fellow understudy cast members. You made us feel like we didn't belong there. I tried for years to be nice to you to no avail. Maybe actually apologize instead of placing the blame on how others perceive you. You'll probably just delete this, though." So clearly Lea has gotten some sort of godlike complex that follows her around, much like her character on Glee. At least, that's how I perceive her. Now at 6, Davide Snell. Only appearing in one episode of Glee back in 2014, Snell had an incredibly vivid memory of how Michele treated him poorly. Now, being on a single episode of a TV series usually means you're on set for maybe a day or two, maybe a few days at most, but for the most part, it's usually a short-lived gig. So with this in mind, what could Michele possibly have done to a total stranger whom she worked with on set for maybe a total of 20 hours over the span of 2 days? Retweeting her tweet about George Floyd, Snell wrote, "Girl, you wouldn't let me sit at the table with the other cast members cause I didn't belong there. F you, Lea." There's really not much to be said. What possible reason would Michele have to say that? How does this man sitting at a table with the other cast members affect her in the slightest? Maybe there's more to the story, but based on the behavior multiple people have accused Michele of, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the whole truth. Really hope I never have to work with her because she's gonna hate me. Halfway now at 5, Amber Riley. Now, unlike the others on this list, Riley didn't come out and say something negatively about Michele. That doesn't mean she doesn't feel a way about it. Instead of using words, Riley decided to use GIFs to show her followers, and anyone really, how she feels. If it wasn't evident enough on a podcast when asked, Riley explained, I quote, "I'm not going to say that she's racist. She's also pregnant, and I think that everyone needs to chill. Y'all dragged her for a couple days, but at the same time, in my inbox there are a lot of black actors and actresses telling me their stories and letting me know they have dealt with the same things on set. Being terrorized by the white girls that are the leads of the show." Moving on to number 4, Heather Morris. After Michele posted her Instagram note, Morris, who played Brittany on the show Glee, tweeted a note of her own. I quote, "Let me be very clear, hate is a disease in America that we are trying to cure, so I would never wish for hate to be spread on anyone else." With that said, was she unpleasant to work with? Very much so. For Lea to treat others with the disrespect that she did for as long as she did, I believe she should be called out. And yet, it's also on us because to allow it to go on for so long without speaking out is something else we're learning along with the rest of society. At the current moment, it's implied that she is a racist, and although I cannot comment on her beliefs, I think we're assuming, and you all know what happens when we all assume. Now, I don't know if you guys actually know what happens when you assume, but as they say, makes an ass out of you and me. Get it? Because that spells assume? You guys will figure it out. Up next at number 3, Aviva Drescher. The star of Real Housewives of New York likely hasn't worked with Michele in the past because one is a reality show star and the other actually has talent. I'm kidding guys, I'm joking. That was a joke. I'm sure Aviva has more talent than me. At the very least, she's gotta be funnier because God knows, well, my attempts at humor, well, it just ain't it. Regardless, Drescher also commented on Michele's Instagram post, claiming she's gotta practice what she preaches. I quote, "You were once very unkind to me, so I'm not surprised by your behavior. You shouldn't judge others before looking in the mirror." It seems this beef stems back to 2014 though, as Michele claimed to be close friends with Carol Radziwill, who Drescher feuded with on the show. In an interview, Michele said, "I love the New York Housewives. Carol is a very good friend of mine. I just told you," referring to host Andy Cohen, "that we went out the other night and had the greatest time. So Team Carol 100%. I don't know what I would do if I ever saw Aviva. She would have to turn the other way." Of course, I don't think the two ladies would actually get into a fist fight if they crossed paths, but there's certainly some animosity here. On to number 2, Keith Powell. Although it doesn't appear these two have ever worked on set together, at least that I was able to find, Powell had some choice words for Michele. The 30 Rock actor known for playing Twofer responded to Ware's original tweet calling out Michele. In his response, Powell wrote, "I co-sign on this. Lea Michele is a terrible human and has said terrible things to many different types of people, including racist microaggressions to or about black people." I don't really have much else to say other than I'm sorry to those that had to deal with her unprofessional and possibly racist behavior and that they were put in these positions. And now at number 1, Naya Rivera. In her book Sorry Not Sorry, Dreams, Mistakes, and Growing Up, which was published in 2016, Rivera got incredibly honest about some of her past experiences. Although the two women were portrayed as best friends on the show, Rivera wrote, I quote, "One of the Glee writers once said that Lea and I were like two sides of the same battery, and that about sums us up. We are both strong-willed and competitive, not just with each other but with everyone, and that's not a good mixture." As the show progressed though, that friendship started to break down, especially as Santana moved from a background character to one with bigger plot lines and more screen time. I think Lea didn't like sharing the spotlight. Lea was a lot more sensitive though, and it seemed like she blamed me for anything and everything that went wrong. If I'd complained about anyone or anything, she'd assumed I was about her. Soon she started to ignore me and eventually it got to the point where she didn't say a word to me for all of season 6. Again guys, no comment, her quote says it all. For those of you that don't know, Rivera played Santana on Glee, and that's why she said when she had to share the spotlight, I guess she wasn't happy about it. Just to give you guys some background there. There you guys have it for the top 10 celebrities that can't stand Lea Michele. I will say, being an actor, it's pretty common knowledge that aside from what you look like and your skills as an actor, your personality has a lot to do with the amount of work you get. If you're people could either see that or word gets out that you're difficult to work with, why would anyone want to cast you? So I'm not sure what Michele's deal was at the time. I mean, she was fairly young, maybe 18 or 19, so I'm not defending her actions, but I will say hopefully she has learned from her mistakes. She's going to continue growing as a person and will find a way to properly make amends for how she clearly treated numerous fellow colleagues in the past. As always guys, I'd love to hear from you, so please drop some comments down below. For now, let's reply to some comments from the video, the dark truth about this TikTok couple. Lawson Patterson said, "People's constant judgment of others is pretty ridiculous. If they would tend to their own lives, our world would be a better place." Hey man, I agree. Like, all I'm gonna say is, I don't know if you guys could tell, but like in almost every video I've been in, rather than just tearing somebody down and being like they suck, even though I just made a joke about a reality star having no talent. It was a joke. I didn't mean anything by it, clearly. I've been pushing like educate each other. Let's just have a conversation and talk. It's very easy to point the finger and place blame. Much harder to have a conversation and try to see things from both sides. So that's all I ever try to push. I mean, in this case, it does seem like Lea Michele is just not a good person, but again, I can't confirm that because I personally have never met her. Then again, with all these people coming out, huh. Mr. Coolcraft said, when you're so early you could even look at the comments. You know what? I'm not even replying to this specific comment. It's more so Mr. Coolcrafts. I have seen so many of your comments and I almost featured them in like a handful of videos and I just didn't for whatever reason that I was like, I just want to feature you. And I might have done it before, but this is another one that you're just because I appreciate how much you comment. So I probably should have chosen a better comment to feature you, but hey, you got comments featured. Blinky said, age is just a number, quoting, I think it was Joss in the video, and jail is just a place. I will say, I say age is just a number. With that being said, I mean it as in, you know, there's 40-year-olds that act like they're 5, and, you know, that's not okay. So really, just because someone's a certain age, the saying act your age says it all. Lea Michele, you know, being 18 years old, telling people that the background actors are cockroaches and saying that someone can't sit with her, she's acting like a 4-year-old. That's all I'm gonna say, guys. Anyways, I've been your host, Gerard Bronstein. You've been watching IO, and we'll see you in the next one. Boom. Lea, is it Lea or Leia? Lea.
Probably Lea, I think.
Lea?
You want to show it quickly?
I knew what it was, and I always just mess it up. Lea Michele, Lea Michele, Lea. It's Lea. It's Lea. Lea?
Pretty sure it's Lea.
It is Lea. It is Lea. It's Lea for sure. It's like the Chris D'Elia thing. It's just, you know, it's just I always say it the wrong way just cause. Lea Michele.
Do the opposite, yeah.
She's really the one that initially lit the match that would turn. She's really the one that. Fantastic. At number 9, Jonte Godlock responded to Ware's retweet. Godlock, who's known for playing Simone Biles in the film The Simone Biles Story, Courage. That's how I just said courage. I said courage. I never know how to say that. And that's on period. I don't know how to say it. Period? Do I just say period? I don't know. Like, I actually don't. You know, it's weird. It's a weird word to say. I know people say it. I just can't say it. But I'll try anyways. And that's on period. And I mean that for both sides of this coin. Okay, how do you think you say this last name? Because I looked it up and like my computer was like Canonico. How do you think? I was going to say Canaccio. Canaccio. I'll say Canaccio. Retweeting her tweet about George Floyd, Snell wrote, girl, you... About to... Okay. I don't know if it's a burp or a hiccup. I don't know what happened there, but something was about to come up. If they would tend to their own lives, our world would be... If they would tend to their...